Studio City. I'm Charlene, your moderator for today's difficult but critical topics. So, as we all know, last month on the month of October, we have a very tragic event happens in Bandar Utama. A 14-year-old boy was being arrested for murder a 16-year-old girl, a fellow student who study in high school of Bandar Utama. So instead of just reacting to the headline, we want to understand the story behind that. So we have some special panel with us today. We have Miss Shakila, teachers involved in the school, and Nicholas, our close friend for the individual involved. We will refer to Alex to protect the privacy of the person, and Dr. Andrew, a clinical psychiatrist, and also Inspector Pot, a representative of the local authorities. So let us start. So my first question is for everyone. I want perhaps Inspector Pot can answer the question first. So Inspector, what exactly happened to the Bandar Utama children?
Okay, thank you, Charlene. Well, in the simple terms, this was a truly strategic news that we have received in this morning. So back on and we received in the morning. So back on the 14th of the October, at the school in Bandar Utama, and we received a report about a 16-year-old girl have passed away in the school, and also our investigation led us to a 14-year-old boy from the same school too. So he was later in charge him in the court, and also a deeply difficult case for everyone involved, the family, the school, and the communities. So because everyone involved is so young, so the court process is happening privately to protect the murder and the incident.
And so, thank you, Inspector Pon. So, as what she had said, that this case is related to the juvenile delinquency, so we can't know much about the result of this case. So, and we don't have enough information about the Alex. So maybe Miss Shakila can share with us who was Alex and what is his background at school.
Okay, so as a teacher, what I can say is Alex was generally quiet. He attended school like any other student, and there was nothing that clearly stood out as a warning for us. And then what the police have been confirmed that Alex has learning difficulties and had been rehabilitation of counseling in the past. But for us teachers, we did not have any official reports suggesting he had conflict with any other student, especially not with the victim. We just see him as a normal student, a regular student that attending to class as a usual student.
Also, Miss Shakila, from the school perspective, Alex is just a quiet and normal student, right? And he has no red flag at school.
Before the incident happened, we didn't see a red flag because teacher handled 100 of students, so some struggle are unseen unless someone report on it or they try to reach out.
And how about the friends first? What do you think were the key events that leads Alex to react like this?
As friends, it's hard for me to explain because I thought unless that I knew he is not existing. This because unless we are living in a different world from the rest of us, he lived inside his world, and in this rapid world from games and enemies. He did not see other students as people. He would murder under the breath about them being NPC with boring repetitious dialogues. And then the scary part is how you invisible world for us to connect around itself. We could see him sitting right there, but we could not reach him. He took physical presence in class, but some of them, as most of the time, he's probably thinking for the fascinating world that is always going in this world.
So it depends on the class that what you said are totally different story like which I could actually first. Like you said that Alex is seeing everyone as NPCs in school.
Yes.
Yeah. So how about Toten? From your professional views, why you need to dig into a class like this? It's very like important.
Why do we need to know this case? So I think like other than like we say like we can have wellness and treatment for a specific case, I think for the most people, for the audience, to understand this case is important because we can spot the early sign or characteristic of the case and then apply to your life to prevent or to care about your friends or your children. For example, like in this case, we can see like he have a lot of symptoms like he's very how to say not talking to people and then socially withdraw, and then when people try to talk to him and then he's like not responding. So this is a very dangerous sign. Like if we know like there's such thing early and then we take it seriously, we can like do something about it. So maybe it wouldn't develop until like this. And then we can also see like he also get affected by the media. He become like he write down the mass shooting cases, the murder names on the paper, and then he try to imitate the behavior. So if we know this kind of things, then we can do some intervention earlier. So this I think was important for most people.
So what you share with us is more in professional views, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite different from others. So let's move on to how this situation develop over time. So Nicholas, did you notice anything were wrong with Alex? Like, does he show any odd symptoms or behaviors in school?
I think that he started that he always growing in his fascinating world, and the game has become the whole of his identity. At school, he will always put on earphones and listen to enemy shoutings, soundtracks. He also did not just playing games, but he lived inside them in the world game world. And then he saw life as a game, like living out, calling progress, like boss fight. The real world border, unlike him, like a glitch he could not escape. And then his eyes were looking in like empty, and in class he was absent. Sometimes although he was sitting there, but he was dreaming for others one. Then, other than that, he also lessly connect to other people, and he was just thinking that CYF the character is only the character. So in the quiet, anxious verbal persons also he's abandoned.
So you guys, you and your friends, other friends, did approach him, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't like respond maybe.
Yes, he don't want to respond us like this one.
Thank you. And Miss Shakira, so from your perspective, how did this condition seem to be worsened over time at school?
I need to be honest. From the school view, we cannot clearly see the progressions. So this is one of the most painful part of this case. There were no documented behavioral escalation or formal complaint that he was toward doing something violent. So as I mentioned before, some students who struggle internally sometimes doesn't show obviously externally. So teachers handle hundreds of students. So some remain unseen or unsolved, also hidden unless they try to reach out or someone reports about it. So in this case, there wasn't a visible pattern of deterioration that teacher could clearly identify before the incidents.
Yeah. So from the school side, there wasn't a clear timeline for the school to react on.
Yeah.
That is tough to hear.
Yeah.
So how about Dr. Andrew? What would you say were the major turning point in the progression?
Cannot see any major turning point, but based on the case, I can see there's a few things. Because this thing isn't like happen suddenly, and it have some timeline, but we cannot know much because we don't have much information. But we can see he has some fixation to the victim. Like he say he loved the victim and they want to live the world with the victim. So there must be a time he developed this fixation toward the victim, and then he might share to others or might not share to others. And then there's another thing is like he also it seems like he spent a lot of time with the media, like because he write a lot of things about people are NPC and he want to be a killer in an anime, like an anime character. So there must be a time like he spent a lot of time watching the media, and then he started to have some ideas, and then he want to acting out, and then he started to do some planning. And then the fixation, the idea externalizing is still okay until the point like he already starting to buy the equipment and all the thing. So I think it's a very big warning sign. When you try to buy the things, he is going to execute it. So this is a very big turning point in my own opinion. And then another thing is that if I want to say the progression, after he buy the equipment and then he is already prepared, he keep finding the opportunity, and then the time that he going out is one turning point. And then after he have killed the victim, and then he going out like scaring the student and then chasing the student. This one more turning point also. For each turning point, this how to say? It signifies, it's like a symbol for each event, and then for this event, if we have some intervention, it will be very helpful.
So thank you, Dr. Andrew, for sharing the professional views. So let's moving on to discuss the why. So Dr. Andrew, let's start with you again. So like what are the biological and psychological factors that lead Alex to done this behavior?
Okay, because we don't know much about cases, like the diagnosis and all the things like still in the process. But we can see there are a few things. First, the murderer is an adolescent. So as we know, like adolescent, their brain is still developed, like especially age 10 to 15. Their self-control, the prefrontal cortex, the area in charge of self-control is still not yet stabilized. And then this especially true for a male, like a male adolescent. Their brain develop slower than the woman peer and the female peer, yeah, they are developed slower. So this might be a reason. And then another thing is like it seems also exposed to the media, the wider media, like the things he mentioned in the paper, like the police get it and then mention a lot of things about anime and the violent things. So we also have a lot of study already show that for adolescent male, if they are exposed to the violent media, they are twice likely than the adolescent that is not exposed to the violent media to commit violent behavior. So the media play a lot of effect at here. So I think that's all for me. Oh, another thing is like he don't have much social connection with others. Also, her studies show that when you don't have a lot of social connection with people, you are more likely to develop some cognitive distortion, like people are NPC or this kind of stuff. So this might contribute to his behavior to further, in my opinion.
Okay, so what Dr. Andrew has said a little bit for the social factors and also the biological and psychological factors, I believe that they also have environmental and another maybe more social factors that contribute Alex to react like this. So maybe Miss Shakila or Nicholas can share.
From what strictly based on that has been confirmed, we know that police, as I mentioned before, police said Alex has learning difficulties, and also authorities mentioned that they investigating the possible influence of media content, and also a note reportedly found on him, but the exact meaning and motive are still under investigation. So beyond this fact, we cannot consume or conclude anything. But from a general perspective, we know that students today face a lot, especially the academic pressure. They have to fulfill the academic requirement, also social expectation, and many influence from the media social. So also mental health awareness is still have a gap in school. So some students have difficulties to process their anger, their frustration, they are confused. So sometimes they turn those emotions inward or outward. So this is the rare combination of factor, because it's from environmental factor and personal struggle.
Yeah, I agree with Miss Shakila. So from what you are saying are big pictures, like Alex might have daily pressure with the academics pressure, and also the lack of support from his friends, and also the system gaps. Yeah. So how about Nicholas? As a friend perspective, what are the environmental or social factors do you think that leads Alex to react like this?
As for me, I think that Alex will be like this. The biggest factors is the silence, because they cannot reach out. Because he was a quiet kid, and finally will become a world kid. I think that most of the time he was in his world and cannot because our friends saw someone is hard to reach, and maybe at home he cannot express out for this one, and also have a high pressure. So I think that no one can reach him is a factors that make things, and he felt he could not ask for help. And the isolations mixed with adults combined words creates a portions the blue of the ears. The person who did this, I think that we were lost him long ago and no one will look him.
So you and your friends trying to approach him, but he didn't want to listen to your guys' advices. I see. So how about Becca's talk?
Okay, so from what just now everyone pieced together, just like what Dr. Andrew said, it's not seem like not a random act. So it points to some serious personal issues between two teenagers that came to the terrible morning that happens this incident. So just like what you all say that the boy thinks that he's the NPC or he want to be the anime killer. So we are also looking very closely what is the final trigger might be happen to him. So it's also a stark reminder that it seems like a very small problem to an adult, but it's a very big problem to a young people. So that's why the court's decision make a decision that send the boy to see a psychiatrist, so that it's very important to see a psychiatrist so that the boy we are understanding what the boy is thinking in his mind.
So from what the inspector shared with us is the Alex reaction is not a random act. So
I have something to add. So just now I listening to the teacher and the friend, and then I realized there is something I didn't notice before. Is like other than like he don't have much social connection, he also don't have a way to express his emotion. Because I also looked to the case, he actually had some fight with the other classmate before, but the school didn't take it seriously because it's just a small fight. But we can see that actually he keep experiencing a lot of psychological distress, but he just don't know how to express it. So when he don't know how to express it, like he put it inside his heart and then he suppress the emotion. So it become a problem. As we know, when you internalize a problem, you put the problem in your heart and then you didn't speak out and then you just suppress it. It's a very risk factor for the future violence. So this is the first thing. And then the second thing is other than we say he don't have much social relationship with his classmate and all the thing. There's one thing we didn't pay attention much is the family perspective. I looked to the case, the father just said that, oh, we just know he's very quiet and then we didn't know he would do these kind of things. He didn't mention anything about like, oh, he experienced any problems or any symptoms. So means like his parents do not have a very good communication or relationship with the person, at least like very distant until like whatever happened he also don't know, like he don't even know his son have a fixation on the victim. So I think it's a very important factor because if the father have a positive relationship with the murderer, then all these things might not be happen because he can intervene earlier, right? So I think these are very important things to consider. The school didn't take the problem seriously, the first thing, and then the second thing, like the murderer internalizing the problems, and the third thing is the family do not have a positive relationship and communication with the murderer. This is what I want to add.
okay, thank you, Dr. Andrew, for the brief conclusion for what everyone shared. So, and I believe that there has an impact which are far-reaching. So, Nicholas, I want to ask, were you and your friend being affected because of Alex, the case like Alex?
Yes, because I think it's left us with so many unanswered questions, and one thing is lose a friends and to the background, and another thing is losing to a world that only existed behind his life. And we keep going over every interactions. Every time he puts earphones to lock up us, and then every time we try to connect to him or talk to him, and then we feel crush guilty for not trying or harder to wrap those, and but also helplessness. And then for us, we can do a revision or advice. How do you help someone that who has made the conclusions, decisions that they don't want to be helped or they don't want to connect to others? And then how do you save a player who wishes to join into your party, and the silence he left is behind is a signal for us.
So it's quite actually sad to hear from what this has impact even your friends. So and I believe that this tragedy not only bring affection to the friends and also the other friends of Alex, it also brings impact to the school community. So, Ms. Shakila, would you like to share with us what are the impacts that this tragedy brings to the school community?
Okay, so the impact is so tremendous. So students as kids, many of them can process that something violent happened in the place that they consider safe. And teachers are shaken too, emotionally and mentally. So parents also have lost trust in school, and they demand a better safety in school. So there are a sense of grief, confusion, and guilty running through the school. So everyone is asking, what are we miss? What are signs that we miss? So it has changed the atmosphere of the school completely, and because school actually supposed to be a lively place for students, right? So, but now there's the anxiety in the whole room. So it's very gives some bad impact to the school community.
Yeah, the trauma is really big for everyone.
Yeah.
Like the parents, family, the parents, the students, or also the teachers. Like, so how about is that the point? Has this case influenced the local authorities' procedures?
Absolutely happens. So like a case like this, it's make everyone reevaluate like how we do things. So we are having a much deeper conversations with school about how to spot a child who's struggling long before they catch up, they reach a crisis point. So we are also training our officers to be a better equipped to handle young people in distress. So it's not just to enforcing the law, it's also about being a part of community's safety net.
Okay, I agree that taking precaution before things become bad is really important. Like, okay, let's moving to the final.
And something to add. So there's one impact I noticed many people miss. Is like not the case itself, but reporting the case actually cause a big impact to the society. Why do I say that? Because based on past study, we actually know that this kind of case, when we report it like massively to the people, then it will cause some cases to cause some people to imitate the murderer to do the same thing. So we don't have much cases in Malaysia, right? But in US we have a lot of mass shooting case. They actually found that when you report the mass shooting case, the people who take the gun and they go to school and they shoot people, and then you report how they shoot people and then all the things. there will actually be a temporary increase in this kind of case because people will like try to become a model or model the person and do the same thing. So for this case, we also see the same thing after we report this case, what happened and then how the murderer do this thing. There's one case in Kuching where two guys are threatening their classmates, say, oh, if you do something like that, then I will like how to say, I will kill you with a knife and all the thing. So I think like other than all the direct consequences, we also see the indirect impact where the media report this thing and then cause a lot of people might imitate the case and then cause more cases happen.
Right, thank you, Dr. Andrew. So maybe we come to the final discussion, and I'm going to know about the solution and also the prevention. So, Dr. Andrew, what treatments or intervention that would be appropriate for someone like Alex?
Okay, so because we do not know like, whether he has any mental illness, so we cannot say much thing about that. But even if we do know about the mental illness, we still have many things to do. For example, for the family, so we know that there's many key timeline, right? The moment that he developed the fixation, the moment he like not having social relationship with the friends, the moment he purchased the knife and all the things. So the first thing we can do for the family is that we need to tell them to pay attention to their children. So at least know like what is going on in their school and then why he's not making friends or anything. So when we tell the parents that they can do this kind of things, then in future when they notice their child has some problem and then they will intervene and then this thing will not happen. And then the second thing is the purchase part. I think I will leave to the inspector for the policy. But another part is the media consume. So we already know that adolescents, especially male adolescents, when they consume the violent media, it will cause a lot of problems. Like they were more likely to commit into violent case, like two or three times more likely than other people. So the intervention we have three types based on the literature. The first thing we can do, like we can restrict their consumption of the media, but we are not forcing them. Based on the literature, the effective way to make them consume less violent media is like they can have the diary. They can track like how many hours they have watched the violent media. We can tell the student to do this. Then other than doing the tracking, we also tell them to try a day without the media because most of the TV show, 50% of the TV show, they contain violent element. So it's better to have one day they just consume no media. They can do other things. So we can tell them to list down what is the things they can do other than watching TV show that have violent element. So this is the first thing we found can reduce their use on the violent media. The second thing is that we need to let them know what's the effect of watching the violent media. So there is two type of effect. One is short term, one is long term. Based on the study, we also see that when the adolescent they are exposed to the violent media, the short-term effect is like they will notice more and more aggression because it's their brain like see this thing, they started to see other similar things. This is called primary effect. This is still okay, but then for the long-term effect, it's quite harmful. When the adolescent watch the violent media in long term, they started to see like this kind of aggression behavior is quite normal. And then they started to feel less guilty about this and then feel like these are normal things to do. So in order to let them know all these things, we need to let them like other than like have a workshop teach them, we also can have them like trying to role play or write down what would be happen when a person watch this kind of media. So this for the media part, and then for the for the people who report this case, the journalists, they also should do a few things to prevent people imitate imitate the case. So the first thing is we can do is that we can report. We do not report the name of the murderer. We already do that, but we also don't report how they commit the murder, because based on the news now, actually it's very detailed. We know what kind of pistol, the knife the murderer is using, and then how he killed the victim and all the things. This is too detailed. We don't have much study about the effect of reporting the detail of the case of murder, but we already know that for the suicide case, when we report how people kill themselves, what's the method they use, we actually increase a lot of suicide case. So this is the same with the murder case. We shouldn't report the method and the weapon they use. We can only just say like there's a murder cases happen, but don't report so much detail. So these the things we can do. So other than that, we also can after we have the diagnosis and all the trial and things, like we also can have psychologists to teach the victim how to make social connection with others again. So like in future when he come out, he wouldn't do the same thing because he already have social connection and then he can regulate his emotion. There's one case I see in Japan where an adolescent also killed another his classmate. So after a few years, he stayed in the something like the present Penjara. The psychologist teach him how to make friends and then how to control his emotion. Now he already outside of the things because only a few years, and he didn't commit any murder case again because he already has the social skill and the emotion regulation skill for him. So we should also like teach the murderer how to socialize. So these are a few things I say: socialize, and then media, and we also control the way we report the case, and then what to do when we found he has the problems for the parents and friends.
So thank you, Professor Andrew, for a lot of sharing about the prevention and also the solution. So how about Miss Shakila? What can the school provide support to the kind of student like this?
So prevention really needs on a different level. So for school need to strengthen their mental health support, like provide more counselor and daily screening, and also make ongoing mental health awareness program to students. So students know where to turn. So teachers also need proper training to spot early warning signs like withdrawal, sudden change in mood, or obsessive behavior. Students, on the other hand, need a self-confident way to speak up when they worry about someone because they often see that adults don't. And of course, school security has to be increased on another level where we have to control the entry, better monitoring of isolated areas, and clear emergency procedures. So at the end of the day, school safety isn't just about enforcing rules. It's about understanding students before they reach breaking point.
So Miss Shakila, you are saying that the school needs better system like more counselors and also trained teachers.
Yeah.
Alright. So how about Nicholas? From a friend's perspective, what lesson should young people learn from this?
From me, the lesson that's for us to learn is we cannot wait for the implementations. If our friends is building a wall to prevent us to connect to him, we need to drag it and not just leave it there. And then we need to we don't just are you okay only, maybe we can ask that in a different ways, sharp like what are the characters that are you going to play. We need to talk about the games they are playing or the anime that they are watching. and we need to join into the and then we can care for them also and asking for the character. For example, what is the character going through, and is this a bloodline story? If it's, we can try to help them, suggest them to change the games or change the one movie, something like that. And then if when he stop sharing or they don't want us to connect with him, we can there is not the time to let them alone. This is because this is a bigger red flag for us. So we need to always to find him so that make a connection with him, something like that. And because their silence is really a signal to request for space, or is crying for help in a language that we need to learn or understand it.
So the coach share with us that we can't let our friends is to disappear in their own world, and also we need to dig more into approach more with our friends. So last but not least, second one, any final thoughts about the intervention?
So when it comes to prevention, I really believe that it is a team effort. So the most importantly is start at home. So parents is the most important influence in the child life. So parents is really need to talk to them, like not about the grades, it's about their feelings. So nowadays internet is very big influence that can affect many people's thinking and emotion. So I'm very glad that to hear about government have a new plans. It's about the Online Safety Act, which will soon help the younger kid off social media. So below 16 years old, it cannot have their social media accounts. So it's a very good planning. And this planning will start next year. So it seemed like a good rule in this online act, but it also doesn't replace the parents' guidance. So parents, please be aware of what your children seeing and doing online. And also everyone else, like teachers, friends, and neighborhood, when you see your young children have acting differently, so it seems like they very easily to get angry or lost their control emotions, and that don't just look away them, just reach out to them and tell someone to that you can influence, you can give them caring or love to see what happened on them. So it's about prevention is about everyone working together to catch these kids when they are falling. So this is how to prevent the tragedy happens again.
So it sounds like it's all on us, like families, schools, and also our friends. So I think the conversation comes to the end of today. Any questions from the audience? Alright, seems no. So thank you all for your brave and insightful contribution today. So it is quite a heavy and meaningful conversation. So the key takeaway is clear: the mental health struggle is real, and also the silence can be deadly. So by talking, acting, and also listening, we really hope that this tragedy can be prevented. So thank you.